sad to see another side down. But this little guide will walk you through everything you need to do to have a fun and enjoyable experience on Chub. Okay, we've made an account. We have our username and we are ready to jump right in. The first thing I recommend you do is go to Profile. First of all, you can scroll down to see if you want to see the safe for work, the not safe for work, safe for life, or not safe for life. You can blur or unblur the not safe for work images. Mine is turned on, so this video doesn't get taken down. But if you do, let's say you do want to see the not safe for work, but you don't want to see everything. And even then, I would recommend you go, if you're coming from a certain dog website, you would go to the blacklist. The blacklist is also accessible right here, right above the logout, but it's also accessible through your profile. And here's where you can block any tag that you don't want to see. Like, I don't want to see female bots because I just don't like them very much. And it'll block. You go back to the page, and they have been purged. And of course, later, if I decide I do want to see the female bots, I can just remove it. And they will return. Now, we're going to go back to Profile, and I'm going to finish walking you through the rest before we get into everything. You can follow certain tags, like maybe you want to see any furry bots. You can follow these tags, your email, it's self-explanatory, your avatar, your username, which you can change, your about me, you can use Markdown, edit your theme. There are a couple of preset ones, but you can figure out which one you like. You can use a sidebar, which is not as pretty in my opinion, or a header. And then you can edit your personas. Now, this is the other big thing. I don't believe, there's no sidebar for it. So edit personas. This is where you would put like your user information, like what color hair, eyes, all that good stuff. So you have a names if you need to set, if some of your personas have similar names, but you want to differentiate from them. This is where I would edit it. So like I said, me, but in Game of Thrones, your in-chat name, so you can have multiple personas with the same name, the avatar, and your description. You can also set if this is the default, what persona will be the first one that comes in on chat, a lore book to the persona, or you can import a character as the persona. And that's really all there is. You can have an unlimited amount of personas, so some of these are just my OCs and some are just me. Okay, we have set all that up. We have found a bot we want to chat with. And up here is this is where you can do your text-to-speech. If you have an 11 Labs key, you can color, copy, prompt. This is just the message prompt, rough estimate. Delete it if you really don't want to see it, or you can edit the intro as you need to change the pronouns. Maybe you don't like second person, maybe you prefer third person, or opposite. Now, on this hamburger up here, we have several different little things to go through. We'll start from the bottom up to the top. You have a view discussion, which is for leaving feedback for the creator. The chat tree. If you start to chat and at one point you get a message and you don't know what route to choose, or maybe you want to try a different reply, this will show up here. You can color code these, so maybe you want to do a good route and a bad route. They start branching off, and then you can color code the good as green and the bad as red, and then you can switch between them as you choose. Then we have all chats, self-explanatory, all chats with Miguel. Then we have new chat, self-explanatory, makes a new chat. Chat memory. Chat memory, it says generate a summary. I would choose to handwrite my summary. And you can put in whatever information. And then you can save your summary. And it will be added to the chat memory. And we have character settings. Let's say you have a bot that's really great, but you just want to add a couple more things to personalize it. This is where you can add little extra lines to the bots and make it tailored for you, really. Or maybe you want to change the scenarios so it's able to do its own custom one. Update live character, it means the character that's currently on the chat, the one that you're currently using, this does not update the character. Actually, I believe this is here because this is my bot, but you would just save character, or if you decide to go back to the default, just reset to default. Then you have chat settings. This is where if you wanted to do a group chat, you could invite others. Well, invite others. You could invite another bot. Lore book settings, if you wanted to attach a lore book. Stages. Now, stages are a little more advanced, but for some people who enjoy them, you can do expression packs. Some people have a maze extension. These are a little more advanced, but you can always ask for help in the Discord. And that's more stages development. You can also download your chat in a JSON if you wanted to export it on your own personal front-end, PNG, or text. And then we have secrets. This is where, if you have a Mars sub, it will say you don't need to do anything. Or you would put your OpenAI key, or use a reverse proxy. You would put your URL, and then you would put your proxy key there. It's the same for OpenAI, Anthropic. For Cobalt, it's just the API URL. Just the URL. Open Matter, you would just put your key in. 11 Labs is the same. And it goes all the way down. Once you get that done, then you go to configuration. We are going to be using the free model in my example, so we are using a Statuo's free model preset. But if you are using like Open Router, we will switch. And now we can see all the models that we can access with the Open Router key. Obviously, we're not going to use any of these, but you have all sorts of ones that are able to try and use on Chub. Back to Mars. Here you are. Now, these are all the props. Most of these, if you don't know what they are, I recommend just using a preset prompt and leaving it there. This is text streaming, the emojis, use lore books. Auto summarization is off, just because I personally find it very wonky and I'd prefer to write it myself. Generation parameters, if you know what you're doing, you can mess with those and edit those. But if not, I would just stick to what the presets are. You can always search for different presets, so maybe I don't like this preset, and I want to find one that's made for the free model. Well, then I can see people have done some people will do for the DeepSeek free, or they'll do testing, stuff like that. But I'm going to use this one because I like it. Now that we have all that set up there, we can go down here. We can change the persona, have our LLM impersonate us, change the theme, where you can edit all that right here. You can imagine. So we'll make a image, and then you can do like a default face, and this is just an image generation. But I don't think I want to do this right now. And then we can do send image. This only works if your LLM has the option to send image. It will not work with all of them. Oh. And other than that, that's about it. This is text to speech. This is a little send, and then you can and from there, that's just about it. Some other models on Chub do not have stream up. Yes. And that is pretty much it for how to set up Chub and get started with it.